We start this tour in the corner of Fifth Ave near Central Park. The Apple store is right behind me, but we're in Grand Army Plaza. You're looking at a gold-adorned statue of Sherman with Winged Victory. There's a story that goes behind this, that a Southern woman, when told who the statue represented and who the lady was, said, "Isn't that just like a Yankee to make a woman walk?" I thought that was amusing. You? You're now looking at the Pierre Hotel, one of the more famous hotels in New York. One of the stories in this hotel is that when Dashiell Hammond was writing The Thin Man in 1932, he couldn't pay the bills, so he had to don a disguise and sneak out without paying. On the southeast corner of 67th and 5th Ave is the Knickerbocker Club. Ernest Hemingway rented a room here in 1959. The architecture is reminiscent of the large houses that used to line this part of the Upper East Side. (820) Fifth Avenue, one of the first apartment buildings built in this section of New York. It has one apartment on each floor with 5 fireplaces and 7 bathrooms. The building in the background under construction is the Arsenal. It was built as a bunkhouse and weapons depot for the Civil War. The Central Park Zoo is right behind it, and it now serves as an administrative building for the zoo. There's a lot of construction in New York. I'm pretty sure everything is perpetually being renovated. Looking at 3 East 64th Street, it is now the Consulate of India. It was originally built for the daughter of Mrs. Astor by the same architectural firm that built Grand Central Station. We're now on 66th Street, across the street from the Lotus Club. The house was built in 1900. One of the things to note is the heavy wooden doors. And Lotus Club is dedicated to literature and arts. You're now looking at 680 Park Avenue. It is home to the American Society Council of the Americas. In the 1960s, it was home of the Russian delegation to the United Nations, and it is where Nikita Khrushchev stood on the balcony and banged his, the famous shoe banging speech. We're now looking at the Union Club, which was built in 1932 to house New York's first club. I asked what type of club, but the book doesn't say. And as I'm doing this tour, all I keep thinking about is the other tour we did, the Radical New York Walking Tours, and what that guy would have to say about these buildings. That would have been more interesting. They wanted us to point out Shakespeare and Company, one of New York's famous booksellers. The West Side location was put out of business in 1996 when Barnes & Noble built 2 mega stores around that location, and they simply couldn't compete. We're now walking down East 70th Street, which the book says some consider the most beautiful residential street in America. New York. Champ doesn't want to be heard on camera. He's correcting me. But 125, which we're looking at, the white building, was built for Paul Mellon. It is a post-World War II mansion. We're now looking at the Asia Society. It's a modern building. Note the glass atrium. We're at 70th and Park Avenue across the street from the Asia Society, and they want us to note this large apartment building. It was one of the transitional apartment buildings that lured the mansion dwellers that lived in this area into apartments. The apartments on the top floors were often 4 or 5 stories tall and contained many, many rooms. Outside the courtyard to the Frick collection, Champ has the book open, so Champ is going to read to us, won't you, Champ? Read to us, Champ. Come on.
This is your blog.
Well, since he says it's my blog, what I note about this is that the house looks a lot like the Frick Mansion in Pittsburgh, and I'm probably pretty sure they use the same architect firm. This house was designed for Joseph Pulitzer. He rarely lived in it because of his sensitivity to sound, as you can hear from the truck that's parked across the street.